Yes. Ready to resume with
Yeah,
Councillor?
thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. You're still on your oath from Monday.
I want to return to a topic that I've asked you about previously, and that is making public comments through use of social media or otherwise about particular issues at council. I've taken you to the Code of Conduct. I also took you to the free speech guideline, but my questions were in the context of where an issue had arisen at council and you were criticising, raising an issue about that topic, but in doing so, you made a comment about, for example, the mayor or another councillor. And I took you to the provision, I discussed with you that as set out in the free speech guideline, there's an encouragement of robust public debate, but in a sense, there are parameters or limitations to it. And in summary, your evidence was you're pursuing robust public debate that you now realise and have been educated either by a self-audit or by other means of those limitations.
Right.
And that your intent in future is when you're engaging in robust public debate, you will observe those limitations. I want to turn to another aspect of robust public debate, and again it raises issues of whether there are limitations. The particular limitation I want to explore with you this morning is where you are being critical or raising a matter, a council matter, and staff are referred to.
Sure.
So staff of the council.
Sure.
Now, I would first just want to remind you of some sections of the guideline which I don't think I took you to the other day. So could we bring up, please, LCC.012.001.0086? Yes, please. Right, that's the first page. And then could we first go through to page 10? This was a section where I had taken you to, I think on the left-hand side, last paragraph, where the guideline refers to a healthy democratic system of local government requires robust public debate on local issues. And then I want to take you to across the page, across the page, stop. The paragraph commencing in a healthy functioning democracy. The appropriate way to respond to public comment that others disagree with is to engage with that comment by publicly rebutting, challenging, or disputing it as part of legitimate public debate on the issue, not by making a code of conduct complaint about it.
Yes.
The limitation that I want to discuss with you arises from staff. And can I take you back to page 8 in that document? and it's the first column, the paragraph referring to clause 7.6H of the code, model code of conduct further provides that while councillors can critique and comment on the advice provided by staff, they must not make personal attacks on council staff in public forums, including social media. It then raises the duty that councillors owe council staff and members of the community under the Work Health and Safety Act to take reasonable care that their acts or omissions do not adversely affect the health and safety of other persons. I'll come back to work health and safety, but you now, because you've done some training in work health and safety, you realise the concept of it, or you know of the concept of a psychosocial hazard.
Yes.
And that comments made about, for example, a staff member internally and in public can give rise to a psychosocial risk or hazard.
Yes.
Right. Now, one of the reasons why I took you to the section on page 10, which referred to the robust debate and engaging in that debate, the issue of commenting about staff aren't able to do that, are they?
As in go on social media?
And criticise, for example, you, or in a sense retaliate or make a comment about any comment you make on a council issue.
It has happened.
Right, but they're not supposed to, are they?
Correct.
There are limitations to the way that they can engage with the governing body in such a public fashion.
Correct.
And also, is it the case there are limitations internally within council?
I don't know the internal side of things.
But you do agree that engaging in some kind of public debate isn't open to members of staff?
Correct.
All right. Excuse me. Commissioner, I do want to move to a code of conduct complaint. Given the position we are in at the moment, we will have to go into a closed session for a short period.
Correct. Pursuant to Section 12B of the Royal Commissions Act, I direct that the next passage of hearing take place in private and the transcript of that passage of the hearing not be published otherwise in accordance with the usual direction.
The media policies of the council.
Yes.
I took you to the most recent one where questions of social media were expanded.
Correct.
And I had taken you to the earlier one, which didn't really reflect, I think, the changes in use by the community of social media.
Correct.
One of the things I raised with you when I showed you both media policies is that consistently throughout both policies, there was a demarcation or an allocation of who is responsible for what. For example, it refers to the Local Government Act and says the mayor is the spokesperson of the governing body. At times, the mayor can delegate that spokesperson role,
Yes.
etc. And then it spoke about the role of members of staff dealing with media.
Yes.
Now, I want to take you to some correspondence which arises, yes, in May of this year.
Sure.
Now, the correspondence a staff member is referred to. My preference is not to refer to the staff member's name.
Sure.
But if the person, when we're describing it, could just be referred to as staff member,
Sure.
avoids us going into closed
Yes.
session.
I agree.
And Commissioner, I would ask that the document I'm asking to be brought up not to be live streamed.
Yes, I think that's appropriate.
All right, can we bring up document INQ.005.001.0012? And if we can go to the final page, right down, or not the second last page, page 4, right down the bottom. Can you see there's an email from you dated 3rd of May?
Yes.
And if we jump across the page, councillor support, and you raise, I've seen multiple posts and videos done by the Mayor, councillors Hall and Green. I respectively request to be given an opportunity to also do a video post. Please get back to me if that opportunity is available, and if not, why.
Yes.
And at this time in particular, we'll be looking at this later on in the day, but you had attended the
Aerotropolis.
thank you, Aerotropolis conference in Hong Kong,
Correct.
and you wanted to put on a post onto the Liverpool City Council website about that.
Facebook page.
Facebook, sorry, yes. All right, now, if we can then go to the bottom of page 3, you can see that went to councillor support. It's obviously been referred to the staff member who it is considered can answer that inquiry.
Correct.
And you can see there the staff member does respond.
Yes.
And if we go across the page, you can see there is a response. First, there's a reference to those videos which featured Deputy Mayor Hull and Councillor Dr. Betty Green, and the staff member confirms they were delegated by the Mayor. Then staff do not determine which councillors appear in video content. And then there is an extract from the current version of the media policy.
Yes.
And it's along the lines that I took you to the other day. You know, it starts off, the Mayor's the official spokesperson of the governing body, etc.
Yes.
Now, you receive that and you're not satisfied with it.
Correct.
But what you do, and if we now go back to page 3 and keep on going, if we can just stop there, you send an email to the CEO about
Correct.
it. Now, just pausing there, even though that's dated the 10th of May 2025, I think you anticipated the changes in the councillor and staff interaction policy, because that's one of the things they now say. You get a response from a member of staff, you're not satisfied,
Yes.
go up to the CEO. The issue is, and, you know, putting to one side the comments in yellow, you're raising why you're not satisfied, that you wanted to make this post about the airport conference, etc. The issue that is troublesome is the first sentence,
Yes.
which is in yellow, that the email from the staff member is another example in proving that the staff member is not a fit and proper person. Excuse me for a minute.
Thank you. Yes.
Right, thank you. Mr. Ristevski, I started to, with the free speech guidelines, I referred you to the reference to work health and safety obligations.
Yes.
And that was in the context particularly of staff, that you have duties in respect of workers at the council, and those duties and obligations include, in a summary fashion, not ensuring their work health and safety. Within work at health and safety, there is an area which really started emerging probably around 2015, 2016, which looks at psychosocial hazards. And without boring with all the details, I think it's in 2019, there was a code, some guidance material provided. It's now become a code of practice under the Act, which means the code has to be complied with.
You familiar with that as in your capacity as a employer?
Yes, we did a course in the last month.
Leaving aside the council context, I just want to make sure you are familiar with the concepts generally that council assisting is talking about, perhaps from your professional life.
Yes.
So through your professional life, you would, I think I asked you this before, you knew of the Work Health and Safety Act and your obligations under it.
Yes.
In that professional life, had you come across this concept of psychosocial hazards?
I've never had to deal with it.
Never been raised with you in your professional work context?
No.
Now, you've spoken about training that you've undergone. Can I just ask, when you commenced again as a councillor last October, leading up to that training that you undertook, do you recall in any council context this psychosocial hazards being raised?
No.
Do you, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page about what a psychosocial hazard is. Do you have an understanding of the concept generally?
I think it's around mental health.
Or perhaps you might describe what you have in mind, and then we can make sure that we're all on the same page.
Work health and safety traditionally arises where there is a risk to the health and safety of an employee, and it's usually associated with falling off a ladder.
Correct.
Or getting an electric shock. I'm using a physical effect. The development has been that there is conduct, and that conduct can give rise to a psychosocial hazard. That is, the classic example is that it can lead to increased stress on an employee, and an employee being subject to severe stress or prolonged stress can ultimately physically have an effect on them. So one example of a psychosocial hazard is stress on an employee.
Yes.
Another example is bullying an employee.
Yes.
Another example is where an employee is criticised in such a way that it leads to depression.
Yes.
So your description of it, it's something to do with mental health. They're examples of psychosocial risks identified and how they manifest themselves. So depression, stress, etc.
I've actually seen, we got the legal report last night, and I've actually seen quite a few employees that are on this kind of leave, which I found very, wow, I didn't realise.
But just as a concept generally.
Yes, I understand that.
If at any time you need any clarification.
Yes, I understand.
Out, but
Yep.
so that
Thank
when
you.
council assisting is using the phrase,
Thank you for
that's the concept. But if there's any doubt in your mind at all, feel free to ask for some clarification. That can be done.
And before you attended the training, which I'll come to in a minute, do you recall, and I'll just use examples, conversations with Mr. Breton, conversations at council meetings, or other conversations with your fellow councillors where psychosocial hazards or risks were raised?
None specifically. If they were, without the training and context of what it involved, it sort of just goes over your head.
Right.
So until we did that recent training, it was not really, for me now, it's another way of saying mental health. By using a very technical word, I really didn't know what it meant until the recent training. But it may have been used, but sort of didn't know what context it was being used.
Could we bring up a document? Excuse me for a minute.
Whilst that's happening, Councillor, can you tell me a bit about the training that you referred to?
Yes, there
You
was
say
another-
that. Oh, you're going there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm jumping ahead.
Sit back, behave.
Yeah. Redact that bit from the transcript.
Thank you, sorry. Can you bring up document LCC.014.002.0544 and it can be live streamed? Now, look, this was provided to the inquiry. It's not, if you've attended some training in the last 2 weeks, it's not going to be recorded there.
What's the date of?
Could
Is
you
this current
just
to a
excuse
certain
me?
point?
The
You can come back to it after.
last entry is September,
Okay.
which was in yeah, maybe if we can confirm that.
Yes, of course.
I
mean, the first entry must be a typo,
yes.
but that's easily understood.
But you can see this records, for example, it commences, as the Commissioner said, it should be 15 October 2024.
Correct.
And that was your induction training.
Yes.
And you'll recall that I took you to the agenda of what was covered on that day.
Yes.
Then I'll just use it as an example on that page. The 12th of November, there was the Aerotropolis conference and you attended that.
Can we scroll down, operator?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. See that?
Yeah, but it's got a whole bunch of other people, well, which they weren't in attendance.
This was in November 24. I don't think it's the one in Hong
Oh,
Kong.
okay. Aerotropolis Conference.
It's got City Futures organised this event.
Okay.
Oh. Excuse me for a minute. Would we go to an entry on the 21st of January? Can you see that there's a course managing media for councillors that Councillor Ibrahim attended?
Yes.
Was that the course you did the other day or is it different?
It's different.
Okay. Then we have, if you go to the 25th of February, sorry, you can see Clayton Ute solicitors gave a session on WHS briefing during councillor briefing session.
Yes.
And you can see a number of your fellow councillors attended, but you and two other councillors didn't attend, were apologies.
Correct.
Now, as it says, the presentation and meeting recording is available on the councillor intranet. My recollection is Mr. Breton, I think, might have given some evidence about that. Have you watched that session on the intranet?
No, I've had a number of issues with the intranet and my logging into it around that time, which has been rectified now.
But since being rectified, you haven't watched this session?
No, because I've done it myself. I've done the course.
Now, if we then go down to the 25th of March. There should be a media training session 2. And you're listed in a non-attendee.
Yes.
Do you recall, was that dealing with social media? Like, I know
No.
you didn't attend, but I assume you were told about the course and what was involved.
I don't believe it was social media. I believe it was dealing with the media,
Like
per se.
journalists ringing up,
Yeah,
or things like
yeah.
that. All right, then if we can I just take you then to the 12th of May? This might become relevant later in your evidence, but can you see there was a proposed team building and respectful relationships session?
Yes.
It would appear cancelled. And then it's got cancelled, rescheduled for July. Has that ever been undertaken?
No.
Were you given any details about what was going to be included in that course?
Can't remember from the top of my head.
It's described as councillor onboarding. Is it your understanding if it's councillor onboarding, it should be compulsory for councillors?
What do they mean by onboarding though?
I don't know. I was hoping you could
No,
help
I
me.
don't know.
I didn't know whether it was kind of like part of induction, part of the introduction to
We'd already
working
done
as a
that.
councillor.
Yeah, no, we already done that initially. So
But have you done building respectful relationship?
no, that was supposed to be a Casula Powerhouse. It's never been rescheduled.
And then down the bottom of that page, can you see on the 7th of July, work health and safety induction?
Correct.
And you're an apology on that day.
Yes.
Now, I think you've said you've subsequently undertaken that training.
Yes, all of those councils that were an apology, we did a separate one together.
All right, so the 3 of you did it?
5 of us. The 7th of July?
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot there's 2 other names on the next page. Sorry. When did you do it?
Within the last 2 months.
Where was it held?
The boardroom on level 11.
And how long did it go for, roughly?
2.5 hours, maybe.
Do you remember who conducted it?
I can't remember his name, but it was an external.
And you attended it. Did you find it useful?
Yes, it's an introduction. These kind of things, you can't just do one and then just stop. It's probably, you need to go a little bit more deeper. So it was beneficial to do, and I will be looking at other courses with the CEO in the next few weeks around that area.
Were psychosocial hazards raised?
Yes.
So that's assisted you in having a better understanding of that concept?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and please just answer the question because Mr. Parrish will leap to his feet. In addition, have you been provided with an advice? I think it may be by a senior counsel, it could be Bruce Hodgkinson, which provides the council with advice about obligations and responsibilities under the Work Health and Safety Act.
Can't recall.
Yeah, you didn't have to leave to that. You can't recall that?
No.
Have you heard of such an advice?
No.
If such an advice had been obtained, which is relevant to the obligations and duties you owe under the Act, is that something that you have a right to see and read?
Yes.
What do you mean by right?
You
might
can-
want to, but
Well, sorry. You can demand to see it, to be provided with a copy, to read it, etc.
Yes.
I've just noticed the time is
Yes,
an
of
appropriate
course.
point.
Councillor, we'll take a mid-morning break. I'll resume at 12:05. Feel free to stretch your legs, get some fresh air, and I'll see you back here then.
Thank you.
Ristevski, just a question on your social media use. You gave evidence the other day that you have your team in Macedonia, but now they cannot or are not allowed to directly post to your Facebook page that you now, in a sense, vet and authorise.
Correct.
Now, with Facebook pages, members of the community can put posts on responding to something that you've posted.
Correct.
Do you ever look at any of the responses or posts to a post that you have made? And if you consider it and consider whether it is appropriate for that post to remain public. And what I'm talking about, if those limitations that we've agreed now operate on your posts, that you don't publicly disparage, you don't intimidate, you don't make bullying comments, etc. If you looked at a post by a member of the community and you're of the view that it infringes the restrictions imposed that you observe, would you remove that post?
You mean censoring?
Well, I'm describing it as removing the post.
Well, I'm not a big believer in censorship. There's been things said about me on my own page from the members of the community that are disparaging. I leave it on there.
All right. So is your view that if you looked at a post and your view was it's disparaging somebody personally, a fellow councillor or a staff member?
Or myself?
Sorry, I'm taking it by in
Oh, okay.
stages.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made that post, but a member of the community has. I'm not going to censor them.
I don't know what the guidelines are on that, but I'm personally, I do not believe in censoring.
Right. When you say I don't know what the guidelines are on that, is it your view that the free speech guideline I took you to, the code of conduct, etc., that governs what you post?
Correct.
If a member of the community posts something, you wouldn't remove it?
No, I wouldn't. And now you're requiring me to do endless hours reading everyone's.
I'm just asking you what
No, I
your
wouldn't
policy
remove it.
is.
No.
And the point you also make is that posts to your, for example, Facebook page on occasion can be rather personally disparaging of you.
Correct.
And your policy is you don't remove those.
Exactly.
Could you excuse me? I think I've been picked up with my use of terminology again with social media. What I'm talking about is you put a post on.
Yes.
Right? Then I think I should have described it as there are then comments made.
Correct.
And I was focusing on those comments that can be made by members of the public.
Yes.
Okay,
Is
so
that how you understood the?
Yes.
right. So all my questions before, they applied to your post, and then I'm focusing on comments being made by members of the community. Your policy used, you do not remove any comment by a member of the community.
Correct.
Right. Now, I want to turn to January, February 2025. Excuse me for a minute. I took you to an entry in Mr. Bretton's diary where he made a note of a meeting with you on the 9th of January.
Yes.
And I can take you to it again, but in the note he says he met with you and about code of conduct issues, running out of alternative means of redress will have to escalate.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just ask you your recollection of that meeting? Did Mr. Bretton raise with you what these issues were, what he was concerned about?
No, because the diary entry seems, like I said the other day, it seems something very serious, and the consistency he has done when it's been serious was put it in an email, not verbalise it.
All right. What I'm interested in is what you can recall of that meeting. So what topics or issues can you recall Mr. Bretton raising with you at the meeting?
Going back to January, I probably can't recall.
Recall? Your point about looking at the entry, it appears to be something serious. He does record running out of alternative means of redress will have to escalate. One construction of that is that he's raising with you, there are these issues and it's on the cusp of becoming serious because I'm going to have to escalate them. Do you remember him saying anything like that?
No.
Now, could you just excuse me? I want to ask you some questions about the first council meeting in this year, and it was held on the 5th of February. Now, I wanted to bring up the agenda for that meeting. I understand it's downloaded this morning, and thank you. It is INQ.001.001.1130. Yes, please, sorry. You can see from the front page, Council Agenda 5 February.
Yes.
During this meeting, there were a number of notices of motion that you put forward.
Yes.
I just want to remind you of at least 3 of those. In this document, can we go through to page 150? And this was NOM 01, and it was commemorative plaque. And I will probably mispronounce this, Enes Bezlagic.
Yes.
And he is some kind of, sorry, I withdraw that. He is a Bosnian singer.
No, a Bosnian actor.
Oh, actor, I do apologise. But he was performing, was it at the Isula Powerhouse?
Yes.
And this was your motion for some kind of commemorative plaque to be presented to.
Yes.
Could we then jump, I think it's to page 152. That's a notice of motion, importance of flying the Australian flag on all council buildings.
Yes.
And then page 173. This was another notice of motion that you proposed opposing the use of the media department for personal benefit of the mayor.
Correct.
All right. Excuse me for a minute. I want to play some extracts from the recording of the meeting. That is INQ.013.001.0013. Sorry? Oh. We can put it on a USB. Do you think that would help?
Can we come back to this, or will that take you out of
Yes.
order?
So, while that's being done, because I'll take you briefly to the commemorative plaque notice of motion, but can you recall that the debate and the discussion about that?
Yes.
From the video, it would have, I think it was passed unanimously by councillors.
Think so, yes.
And the interchange between you and the councillors seemed to be quite positive.
Yes.
There was, from some councillors, curiosity about who this person was,
Yes.
how his Bosnian background fitted in with your Macedonian background.
Yes.
And as I said, generally displayed by your fellow councillors a positive reaction.
Correct.
While we're waiting for that, the next notice of motion was the importance of flying the flag on council buildings.
Yes.
And if what your motion sought,
Can we just put it on the screen so I can see the motion
I didn't know, oh yes, sorry.
whilst the video is being?
I didn't know what.
That's all right. That's all right.
I didn't know whether it was interfering with the download, but if we're doing a USB stick.
Yes. Let's
So
bring it up.
we
so-
go back to the agenda. And it was page 153. Now, this is your notice of motion, first acknowledging the significance and resolves to fly the Australian flag on all council buildings, write to the federal government to seek funding, direct the acting CEO basically to produce a report on the cost of installing a flagpole on every council building. And then number 4 was a particular request of the cost to install a significant flagpole with a very large Australian flag to sit on top of the new library on Scott Street.
Yes.
And is that new library, is that kind of part of the civic place?
Yes.
Buildings that, now,
Is that I've seen a photo. Is that the circular part of the building?
Yeah.
On the street frontage? Is that what I should, that's the
Yeah.
library, it's Scott Street.
That's the one.
it's separate from the high rise where the council
Yes.
chambers, offices are situated and other floors where there are private tenants.
Yes.
So your number 4 goes to a flagpole on the top of, in the commissioner's description, that circular building.
Similar to what Parliament House have in Canberra.
Sorry.
Might have to come back to it after lunch.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Could you just? Could I just have a minute, please?
Yes.
I'll jump to a completely different topic. And that is the possible advantages or benefit of reintroducing a position of an independent ombudsman.
Yes.
Now, just to give you some background, and previously at Liverpool City Council, there was a role of an independent ombudsman.
Yep.
When you were there for your first period of a councillor, was somebody occupying that position?
No.
So it was something that was introduced post 2016.
Yes.
You had a 2-term gap, didn't you, Councillor?
This is my second.
No, but you're on for a 2-term gap, and now you're back.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Now, in December 2024, sorry, in July of this year, you submitted a motion requesting for the investigation of the possibility of reinstating that position.
Yes.
And your motion, I can bring it up if you want it.
Let's do that.
Okay.
I'd like to. I've seen it before, but I wouldn't mind seeing it again.
INQ.042.001.0004. Can we live stream? Right, front page, and then if we can go through to page 355. Right, so that's second of notice of motion, establishment of the internal independent ombudsman to handle code of conduct and public complaints. This was moved by you.
Yep.
And if we keep on going, sorry, can we go back? The background is you refer to recent concerns about misuse of code of conduct complaints to suppress criticism, underscore the need for an impartial mechanism within the council's internal structure. An appointed internal independent ombudsman would serve to strengthen trust in the council's governance processes and safeguard democratic accountability. And also you then raised the cost.
Correct.
If we quickly look at the motion, keep on going. I think I'll ultimately, oh, sorry, what's the chief exec officers? All right, he takes issue with some of the comments you make in your paper, but can I just, before looking at that, the result of this was a resolution was passed for the CEO to look at it and provide a report back to council.
Yes.
And that report hasn't been completed and come back yet?
Don't think so.
My recollection when I watched that is that there was discussion about maybe waiting to see what this inquiry recommends.
I can't specifically recall.
All right. Could we just go back to the top of the motion? Sorry if you... there you raise recent concerns about the misuse of code of conduct complaints. What are you referring to?
The fact that a lot of them were not in the spirit of the minister's free speech. I don't think Councillor Hart in particular was the one that was raising a lot of the code of conducts regarding my social media posts, which actually went against the spirit of the minister's free speech guidelines. And that has been also supported by the independent code of conduct reviewers who have actually flicked those ones off. It just tied down the whole process with these
All right, so you've spoken about not within the spirit of the guidelines. The guidelines were in June of this year.
Yes,
Though I think this motion was in July of this year.
correct.
So without getting into specifics, you have a concern that some of the complaints, as you said, are not within that spirit of the guidelines where they talk about generating robust debate.
Yes,
Is that a concern you had in July or a
Yes.
concern you have now or both?
both.
So in July, had you seen the 23A guideline on free
Yes.
speech? And had you had contact with a code of conduct reviewer at
Yeah.
July? You had by then?
Yes.
And you also spoke about, to your knowledge, some of the complaints, to quote you, were flipped off by one of the code of conduct reviewers.
Yes.
Is that a reference to your knowledge, some of the complaints were closed after preliminary assessment?
Before the answer is given, not sure what the answer is going to be. I was okay with the initial answer because it was such a general high-level comment about some of the. I'm not sure, based on the question given, whether it is calling Councillor Ristevski to specifically to refer to things that he has been told pertaining to unresolved codes of conduct use or closed code of conduct.
I might be missing something, but the question as framed, and the councillor can tell me if he can't answer it yes
Yes.
or no, but only asks for an understanding that some had been resolved at the preliminary investigation status. He may be able to answer that yes or no. As the question seems to me to call for. If he can't, he can tell me he can't answer it without giving more context. But at the moment, I'm not sure the issue arises, but tell me if I've misunderstood you.
No, I was picking up on his description of they were flipped off.
Yes.
I assumed flipped off had a particular meaning, that wouldn't infringe my learned friend's concerns.
That's how I understood it. Let's ask the question again and we'll see. We'll tread carefully, but we'll see where we get to next.
You refer to some complaints being flipped off.
Yes.
When you use the term flipped off, does that refer to complaints that didn't progress to an investigation stage?
No.
All right.
I mean, Mr. Parrish, what's the problem if I ask the witness, what does he mean by flipped off? Without
No problem with that.
Okay, well, what do you mean by flipped off?
Oh, what I meant by that was it made the tranche that was submitted to the conduct reviewer. There might have been 20 on there, and that particular conduct reviewer would have only actioned 3 of those 20. So the 17 were like, yeah, there's no issue there.
When you say action, you mean proceeded further with an investigation? Is that what you mean, or something?
In the report, they listed 20, and then the conduct reviewer would narrow it down to 3. These are the 3 I'm concerned about. So obviously the other 17
Fell by the wayside.
yeah, fell by the wayside, yeah.
Everything okay with that, Mr. Parrish?
Yes, thank you.
There's no detail of the complaints,
Yeah.
and that's the councillor's understanding. Whether there's a document that goes in a different direction or not is probably not the issue.
And your knowledge through that example you gave of a particular tranche where a number fell by the wayside. Why do you say that knowledge supports the re-establishment of the internal ombudsman position?
Because they didn't, okay. I guess.
Because in a way that demonstrates the system is working, that 17 fell by the wayside.
Are you saying why I prefer having an ombudsman? I've heard comment that how can an ombudsman be independent if it's paid by council? Well, that current role is performed by someone else who's paid by council. And I think creating a position specifically in this area, it gives comfort to a councillor knowing that we've got someone that kind of works independently, even though they're paid by council. The people at the moment are doing other jobs besides this. And
sorry, can I just clarify, when you say the people who are doing this are doing other jobs?
like David Day, his role is not specifically specialising in code of conduct. He'd be doing other things as well. And there is a bit of a cloud around, does the CEO have a conflict of interest now? He's the head honcho when it comes to these. Now that there's a bit of a cloud around whether he has a conflict to make a decision on these, especially when Matthew Hart is feeding him a lot of these. There's a cloud around that, let's be honest. An independent ombudsman would remove that whole cloud, that whole perception, and I think that's what it needs. And Wendy Waller, the previous mayor, I think she had a point, because there are members of the public that want to deal with the ombudsman as well at the moment. They don't know where to go. There is a lot of issues within the community that need an ombudsman.
So are those issues separate from code of conduct complaints?
Yes, so the
All
ombudsman
right.
would deal with code of conduct and everything else that revolves around the integrity and council. It's very well needed in Liverpool.
The code of conduct procedure, in 10 words or less, is that there's, in a sense, an initial vetting of the complaint to see that it's not vexatious, and at a very superficial level, it comes within the code of conduct.
Yes.
Then the next step has been that it's, if those boxes are ticked, a decision is made. Do we just, in a sense, deal with this in an informal way, or do we refer it for preliminary assessment?
Yes.
And the preliminary assessment has been undertaken by those outside organisations.
Yes.
You describe them as a conduct reviewer. That's
Yes.
those people. And then if the preliminary assessment says, yes, there is something here, it moves to an investigation.
Yes.
Your proposal of the independent ombudsman, with that kind of summary of the 3 stages, at which part or with which particular role in your mind would the internal ombudsman be involved?
The first 2 parts, I'd say.
All right, so like I've described it as the initial vetting.
Yes.
And then the preliminary assessment.
Correct.
And then your view is, if there's ticks with those first 2 and it's got to be an investigation, that's appropriate to go out to an outside body.
With the caveat of before expending costs with the ratepayers, can it be resolved through retracting something or further training or an apology or whatnot, proactive in the sense that why should we be spending ratepayers' money on these things when it can be resolved internally at a much, we're all mature adults, people make mistakes and we can rectify them internally without having to go to an outside agency that costs quite a lot of money.
So that's a new step.
Correct.
Where would you see that sitting in the timeline?
If it can't be resolved with all those new steps, then you get an outside person doesn't want to apologise or rectify it or
There's a
do the-
dispute about the facts.
correct.
Yes.
Digs their heels in, then you have no choice.
But where in the, so a code of conduct complaint is made, we'll assume that the council's reinstated the position of ombudsman.
Yep.
As I understand your answers, you would see that person as being the person to whom complaints are made.
Yes.
Person looks at them.
Yep.
Does the first level vetting or triage. Yes, this is a code of conduct issue.
Yep.
Yes, the person's subject to it. So we get through the gateway.
Yep.
Then they have a look at it to see whether it warrants any action at all.
Correct.
That initial assessment is done.
Exactly. For example, a post was made on social media, remove it. And
That's what I'm asking you. When do you see the opportunity for engagement to try and resolve the issue? Is it after, by the internal ombudsman,
Yes.
before, so that the internal ombudsman may have made a decision or formed a view, yes, this needs investigation, but before I send it out, I'm going to give the person who's the subject of the complaint an opportunity to withdraw or apologise,
correct. Exactly.
take whatever remedial steps might be appropriate.
Exactly.
And if it can't be then resolved, off
Yes.
we go. Is that,
Correct.
have I understood you correctly?
Yes, you have.
So for example, if the complaint was about one of your social media posts, in the words of the Commissioner, it gets through the gateway, a preliminary assessment is then undertaken. And again, if that box is ticked, you would be contacted and informed there has been a complaint about this post that it personally it disparages somebody. You are then given the option to say, in substance, I acknowledge that, or I will remove it, or I will apologise, or something like that.
Yes, and it has happened on 2 occasions.
I'm sorry, with you.
Yes.
Trying to avoid going, sorry, so it's been resolved.
Correct.
Did it deal with social media posts?
Correct.
Was it a formal code of conduct complaint or did someone just contact you about a
No,
post?
via email, the CEO and Shane Mallard contacted me and suggested I make these amendments, which I was happy to, and we resolved it there and then.
And again, it was amendments to a social
Correct.
media post.
Correct.
And I'm just trying to place this in a code of conduct context. The CEO and the other staff member, Mr. Mallard, contacting you, was that before a code of conduct?
Yes.
Okay, so you put a post, they contacted you, asked you to make some amendments and you agreed to.
Correct.
The second occasion, again, was it dealing with a social media post?
Correct.
Had it gone, I'm describing it as the 3 stages of a code of conduct.
Stage 1.
So it was at the gateway stage.
Yes.
And somebody within the council contacted you?
It's been on 2 occasions, the CEO and Shane Mallard.
Oh, sorry, you gave an example. The first example you gave, you said it was the CEO and Mr. Mallard.
2 separate occasions.
All right, so it was 2 occasions.
Actually, the CEO's done it on 2 occasions. Shane's done it on 1.
Right. The second occasion had a code of conduct, to your knowledge, had a code of conduct complaint actually been lodged?
No.
So you were just contacted on this second occasion with, you've made this post, can you change it, or was it amended or pull it down, or what was proposed?
One of them, it was pulled down. The other 2 were amended.
The other 2 were what?
Amended.
Again, the third one, were you contacted, was it the CEO?
Correct.
by himself.
Correct.
Involved a social media post.
Correct.
Do you know whether a code of conduct complaint had actually been lodged?
It wasn't lodged.
All right. So the three examples you've given are actually kind of something occurring before we move to a code of conduct complaint
Yes.
being lodged.
Yes.
Can you roughly give an indication, those three incidents, did they occur around the same time?
Probably within 3 months of each other.
But are we talking about October of last year,
Oh, it would have been-
December, January?
Yeah, it would have been at the first half of the year, this year.
Sorry, Commissioner, can I just raise something? I think all of those documents actually are in the tender bundle. Okay, I just wonder whether, if my learned friend is looking for dates, those documents might be. still there.
You're right, the documents will reveal the date. I think we're just trying to place it in a spectrum, but thank you.
So you've had that experience. The proposal that you were making to the commissioner, in a sense, are you incorporating that experience where you actually do have a code of conduct complaint? It goes through the gateway, it goes through the preliminary assessment on your model by the independent ombudsman. And before the council sends it out to investigators A, B, and C, there is an attempt to resolve it informally.
Yes.
And when I say informally, either pull down a social media post, amend, apologise, do something along those lines.
Yes.
That model that you've just described, even though it's without the internal ombudsman being there, you haven't experienced that since you've come back as a councillor, where the alternative procedure is after the preliminary assessment. Do you see my point?
No.
All right. The three examples you gave,
Yep.
from your answers, that appeared where there was a concern
Yes.
by something you posted,
Yes.
but a code of conduct complaint had not been lodged.
Correct.
The model that I thought you were suggesting to the commissioner was a code of conduct complaint has been lodged.
Correct.
You go through the gateway,
Yes.
you go through the preliminary assessment.
Look, I'm not too sure whether that process occurred in my.
No, just this is what
This is your model.
we're just exploring. what-
Sorry. Yes. Yes.
Taking
Go. Yes. Go on.
to be
Go
a
on.
potential recommendation that
Yeah.
you would ask me to consider.
My apologies. Yes.
Yeah. So we're on the same page.
Yes,
I'm looking
yes.
at
No.
a possible model
Yes.
so that you've got code of conduct complaint lodged.
Yes.
We've moved to a gateway,
Correct.
tick with the gateway. We've then had a preliminary assessment where again, tick
Yes.
before engaging investigator ABC,
Yes.
who works out in the community.
Yep.
Alternative resolution is then explored with you post preliminary assessment before it's sent out.
Exactly.
All right. That would be a model that you would suggest. And as part of that model, the gateway and the preliminary assessment would be conducted by this independent ombudsman.
Correct.
And in addition to the independent ombudsman doing that type of work, that person you've raised that from your view is that there are within the community people who want to raise not strictly a code of conduct complaint, but some other matter, and would like a person like an independent ombudsman to be able to approach.
Exactly. And I'll tell you why. The community do not trust the council. The trust level is very, very low. They are reluctant to provide their personal details. Now I'm getting on my councillor requests. Councillor, can you tell us the name of the resident that asked for this, their address and phone number. Then when I go to the resident, I'm not giving them those details. I don't trust those bastards, you know. So there's no trust in the community. So they want someone they can approach independently. And a good example is this asbestos issue, which has become a pandemic in our area where it's been so poorly handled that the trust is not there with the community. They would rather go to an ombudsman, deal with them knowing that they are independent and they can speak freely.
And again, in this model of a wider jurisdiction of the independent ombudsman, that, for example, an asbestos issue could be raised by the member of the community, and then the internal ombudsman would take that complaint or concern and be able then to approach the council to get an answer.
Exactly.
Without necessarily, depending on what the issue is, disclosing who the member of the community was.
Exactly.
I think we've now got the video, but we might play that at 2:00.
Yes. All right, we'll adjourn for lunch. Councillor, I'll see you back here at 2:00.
Thank
We'll
you.
adjourn until 2 p.m.
Mr. Ristevski, before the break, I was asking you about work health and safety, and in particular whether, as a councillor, you had been provided with a copy of a memorandum of advice by a senior counsel at the New South Wales Bar, Bruce Hodgkinson.
Yes.
And your evidence was you didn't receive that or you didn't recall it.
Don't remember seeing it.
Commissioner, we've been provided with a copy of it and the council has waived privilege over it.
Okay.
Could LCC.008.001.0059 be brought up, please? Yes. All right. We'll come back to that. What I'm going to do now, I'm sorry, Mr. Ristevski, we're jumping around a little bit. I want to return to 2025 and a council meeting. Before doing that, I should just draw your attention to a document which is LCC.003.001.0078. Yes, please. Mr. Ristevski, this is an email from Mr. Breton on the 28th of January. You can see the subject matter is social media posts.
Yep.
Do you recall receiving this email and reading it?
Yes.
And if we continue, just look at the content of it. A comment about increased levels of social media posts at the moment, some of which I've been informed are concerning staff. Staff have approached me personally, stating that they take these posts personally and fear some of the comments made therein. Then the next paragraph, there's reference to staff welfare, staffing generally, the responsibility of the CEO. And then you can see a reference to, I think Mr. Breton says that he's the PCBU. That's a term under the Work Health and Safety Act, a person conducting a business or enterprise, which I think is actually the council. But you can see we must report all hazards, including psychosocial hazards, perceived or otherwise.
Yes.
And then he also reminds the councillors about additionally, I have today reminded all staff of their obligations under the media policy and the code of conduct. And then it continues with these obligations cover very important ethical considerations relating to improper behaviour, abuse of power, intimidation, fairness, equity, bullying and harassment. Fundamental to the conduct of everyone in the public service and are the basis of the values of our council and right action by all those who work in council. Now, when you received that, you can see there's a reference that I just took you to psychosocial hazards, perceived or otherwise.
Yes.
Did that prompt you to make some inquiries about what are psychosocial hazards?
No.
At this point?
No. Become
more educated in obligations and duties under work health and safety?
No.
The email raises social media posts,
Yep.
An increase in their number, and that staff have raised that they're taking some of these posts personally and fear some of the comments made therein. When you read that comment, did you reflect on any of the social media posts that you had made?
No.
Why not?
Because if it concerned me, you should have emailed me. I had no idea who he was referring to, because I don't follow any other councillor's Facebook page. I have no idea what they're posting.
Mm-hmm.
The normal thing would be, if it relates to me, send me the email and be specific. Why beat around the bush?
At this time, you were using social media.
Yes.
You use social media, in particular your councillor Peter Ristevski Facebook page quite frequently.
Not as frequently as I am now.
But at that stage, that was, I think you described earlier this morning, that's your means of communicating with the community.
Correct.
Surely where the CEO sends an email about staff being concerned, take these posts personally, fear some of their comments made therein, that would prompt you to have a look at your social media posts and whether there was any problem or issue with.
No.
And it, again, didn't prompt you to look at any idea or any concept of your obligations under work health and safety or any idea of psychosocial hazards arising?
No.
Right. If we now turn to the 5th of February, I want to take you just to some excerpts of the video. I took you before lunch to the various notices of motion. The video or the recording is INQ.013.001.0013. And can we first go, I think it's round 36.27.
Look forward to that discussion. Okay, NOM 01, page 150, commemorative plaque for Enis Basajic.
Yeah, I'd just like to move it. There's quite a few noms there, so I don't want to delay this one in debate.
Seconded, Councillor Carnegie. Councillor Hart.
I just have a question. When is this event going to be?
As far as I know, this month.
Specific date?
I don't have the specific date.
Has it been booked in with CPAC?
I believe it has.
Can we get confirmation on that?
I will refer to the Director of Community, who has the date no doubt available.
Thank you. Through the acting CEO, the venue was approached for venue hire of the theatre for the 23rd of February, but it was a tentative booking. They haven't confirmed it. They're still working on their first venue and filling the first venue, so we haven't got a confirmation on whether it's going ahead, but it is tentatively booked for the 23rd of February.
Thank you.
Councillor McNaught.
Mr Mayor, I have an amendment to the motion that I'd like to propose. It's a change to point 2, where I would like to have it amended to suggest, to state, and I'm good with the rest of it, just that based on the report from staff, and I'll read directly from that final paragraph of the report, and replace point 2 with a plaque for Mr Baslagic will be prepared and for presentation by the Mayor or a delegate as per the Civic Events and Ceremonial Functions Policy.
Great. Yep. Do you have a seconder for that amendment? Seconded, Councillor Hart. I also should point out that under the Act that which doesn't state in here, but the civic and ceremonial responsibilities does lie with the Mayor.
I'm happy with the Mayor to turn up with me, not a problem. You can even sit next to me. It would be nice, wouldn't it?
More than happy to, but ultimately, yeah, I don't even know if I'm available on that night, but ultimately just the council can't override the Act.
I move to my original motion.
We then just, no, sorry, keep on going. We're just near there.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Just moving forward, sorry, can we just go back up just on before that? So your point 2 basically says, confirms that your attendance will be there. Yeah.
Can we perhaps maybe add to Councillor Ristevski's motion the point that Councillor McNaught made for point 2? Because I don't think they would conflict. And for inclusivity matters, I think it would be good if we're all informed of the event and confirm our availability, because I think that'll be of interest to all of us.
By all means, if you remember when the singer was here, everyone was invited, but unfortunately not everyone could attend because of the conference. By all means, everyone's welcome to come along, although it's going to be in the language of Bosnian, so I'm not too sure if you guys will understand it, but come along.
It'll be great for you to translate then. Is there similar language to Macedonian?
Very similar. If you sit on the other side of me, it'll be really nice. We've got the Mayor on this side and you on the other. We'll have a great night.
So,
I think as I raised with you before lunch, ultimately your motion was passed unanimously.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask you about 2 comments that you made. The first comment, where there was an issue about the civic and ceremonial responsibilities lying with the Mayor or a delegate. And you said to the Mayor, I'm happy with the Mayor to turn up. You can even sit next to me it would be nice, wouldn't it?
Hmm?
Why did you make that comment?
Why not? I mean,
No, I'm,
oh, sorry. I have no problem with him turning up, and he agreed with it.
and then when Councillor Hart asked you about, because you gave evidence it's an actor and
Yes.
I take it the language that he was going to speak in, again, you said to him something along the lines of translating, if you sit on the other side of me, it will be real nice. I'll have the mayor on this side and you on the other. We'll have a great night. Again, why did you say that?
Because he wanted me to translate for him, and I can only translate if he's sitting next to me.
With the two comments inviting the mayor to sit next to you and Councillor Hart to sit on the other side, there was no subtext or other reason for you stating that?
No, and their response, their response confirms that. They had no problem.
No, I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you why you said that. And my question was there any subtext or other reason why you were saying that?
No.
All right. I now want to move to notice of motion 2.
While that's happening, what was this event, councillor, that you were discussing?
He's a stand-up comedian, actor, sketches, whatever they're called, but he performs it in the Bosnian language. So he doesn't perform it in English. It's
And he was coming to the region to do some
yeah,
shows.
he's quite popular within the ex-Yugoslavia community, so Macedonia. A lot of Bosnians, Serbians know him. He's now performing at the Opera House next year. So it's quite a big thing. He's got quite a big following. So to have someone of that standing choose Liverpool is quite good as part of our promotion, branding.
Can we move forward to notice of motion 2? And my note is that it commences at about 47:40. If we can move along to that.
Next item is NOM 02, page 152. The importance of flying the Australian flag on our council buildings.
I move the motion that way.
Tab 14, recommendation on page 153. Moved Councillor Ristevski. Do you have a seconder? Seconded Deputy Mayor. Is there any discussion? Councillor Ristevski.
So before we get into a debate, and firstly, thank you to BJ for speaking so passionately about this topic. And I heard BJ on the radio last week speaking about it, and he got quite emotional. So thank you for turning up and alleviating to all of us how important this is. This motion is basically calling for a report at the moment. So it's in its current state, there are no financial implications as per the CEO's comments. The motion is asking to determine what will be the cost and if there are any cost offsets available through the federal government grants. Now, I think when it comes to the Australian flag, we should give it all the respect that it deserves and allow this motion to proceed to the next stage.
Councillor Carnegie.
Yes, if it's... Look, first, I'd like to thank BJ for his commentary earlier. I think it's, of course, it's super important as citizens and as councillors to set an exemplary standard of, what Australia means to all of us. And I think my particular point of view about this motion is that it should incorporate, and there's a acting chief executive officer's comments about there being 3 official flags, being the Aboriginal flag and the Torres Strait Islander flag. Now, I think at a preliminary stage it being a costing exercise, I think it would be great for council to be able to afford and fund the flying of those 3 flags, the official flags, for example, here at the new council building. Of course, I think it's prudent to go out and see what the cost of that will be, where it will be, the safety measures around it, the cost associated with the rising and of those flags. So from a cost standpoint, if the mover and seconder are content with something of that substance being incorporated, that it be the 3 official flags. And I'm content with 2 about the funding of the initiative, and 3 being that the acting CEO come back with a report about the funding source, and come back to the next council meeting on top of the new library, Scott Street, or any other civic building that council may own, that council staff think it's an appropriate consideration for us to consider. For example, it may be X amount of dollars, which would be super expensive for council building, but it may be, I don't know, 2 other sites that council may own that might be considerably cheaper, and as a result, we may want to consider putting it there as well. I just think from a costing standpoint, it would be good to go out and get the costings of 3 official flags. That's my view, if the mover and seconder are content with that.
Just before I move to Councillor Hart and then Councillor AJ, on Australia Day, we were presented a flag by Ms. Diley, the member for Fowler, a flag that has been flown inside Parliament House in Canberra, and which is very special. She presented to everyone at the citizenship ceremony, full house, and we're currently looking for a location to put the flag in the out around this building somewhere, being such a significant gift. So that is happening as we look along. But yes, I just thought I'd point that out. Councillor Hart?
I just wanted to bring up an issue with what I think is the order of this motion. Point 1 says resolves to fly the Australian flag on all council buildings. We're not at that stage yet. I think point 3 realistically should move up, and then that should be potentially a resolution of council once that report comes back to us. I also want to know, when we say all council buildings, does that include toilet blocks? Like, where does it stop? I think we need council staff to come back to us and report on what buildings they deem appropriate. And obviously that'll be the vast majority of buildings in the LGA. And I think there needs to be consideration to the costing of doing this, obviously, and that will be in the report. But there are also considerations when it comes to respecting the flag itself. Including, from what I can think of the top of my head, for example, it has to be, the flag has to be taken down at the end of the day, or it has to be illuminated properly, and that would come at a significant cost. I think we need a lot more, and I hope this report would do that, but a lot more consideration into that. So if we can perhaps, if the move is amenable, work towards changing the wording of this motion to, and I want to reiterate that the spirit of this motion should stay the same, but just try and make it a bit more orderly.
Sorry, that was my fault.
A bit more orderly to ensure, it's a quality motion.
I probably should have called a point of order there before when you said, will we fly the Australian flag on a toilet? I mean, that's very disrespectful.
Block. I'm saying it's a council building.
Very disrespectful.
You're misconstruing my words now, Councillor Ristevski.
Excuse me, councillors. Councillor Hart did not indicate any disrespect. He was just seeking clarification. So let's not bring this up as a who is more Australian than the other.
I'm not doing that.
No, sorry, Councillor. All due respect, your motion as worded, Councillor, is terrible drafting. It contradicts itself.
So is yours.
Thank you, Councillor. Sorry, which one?
My number one motion.
Sorry, excuse me, Councillor. The wording of your motion is terribly drafted.
I disagree.
Huh?
And if
you disagree,
yes.
Well, thank you. As the chair of the meeting, thank you. Please don't interrupt me, Councillor. When you turn, let's go through this one by one, word for word. We have plenty of lawyers in the room. Acknowledge the significance of the Australian flag as a symbol of national pride and unity.
What is wrong with that?
Excuse me.
What is wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with that. Full stop. And resolves to fly the Australian flag on all buildings, right? Now, you said it yourself. In order to fly the flags on the buildings, you want to report first to work out what that's going to cost. Correct?
Correct.
All right, great.
Well,
so that becomes...
Okay, fine. Remove the last part and resolves. That's fine. I'm happy to.
It doesn't have to be removed. So we're going through the wording here and acknowledging.
The wording
right?
of number 1 is correct.
Yes, now it is correct.
Perfect. You
right? Because it was 2 statements in 1 point.
You wanted to remove it completely. Actually, not you, Councillor
No, he didn't,
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
He did.
He said it numerous times.
But he also,
Disappointing.
look, that's not what I'm arguing about, but the disrespect shown flying it on the toilet block is unacceptable. We've had people fight under that flag.
Nope.
You'd never say something like that. It's common sense. Common sense.
So the point number 2, right? Huh? Yes, Councillor Hart. Right
No, let's
reply.
keep going. Go through the motion. You said it's
No,
probably-
you're having a go at a councillor. He wants a right of reply. I'm happy to allow him to speak. Councillor Hart.
I had no intent to disrespect the Australian flag, first and foremost, and you know exactly what I said, Councillor Ristevski, and that was a question on the tightness of this motion. This motion, as it stood, was one that would, you know, there are cracks there. And I want to make sure, as a good governing body, that we pass a motion, which I think the majority of us are in agreement on, or agree on the spirit of the motion, which I very much am. So don't accuse me of not being at all. And we are trying to, I know you're trying to score some political points here, because I know you've been in the media about this, but please do not misconstrue my words. I was trying to be constructive, and I don't think your comment was constructive whatsoever.
All right. So the next point number 2. So that once again is putting the cart before the horse, because if we're writing a letter to the federal government, we don't know what this initiative is going to cost. So that should come back when we get the report back.
A second, let me comment. I don't think you understand how balance sheets work. You write to the federal government, then we know if we can get some funding for this, rather than us paying for the cost. We need to know that. If they say no, then we know our numbers. There's nothing wrong with point number 2.
Nothing wrong with. So how much are we asking them for?
The report says to work out the costing. We let the federal government know what it costs. Will they support
Which
us?
is what I just said.
Don't.
You get the cost first.
The managers know how to do this.
Huh?
Try not to micromanage everything, because I know you walk into the CEO's office every 2 minutes.
Sorry,
right?
Councillor.
Stay in your own lane.
Sorry, Councillor.
Order.
Point of order. Yes. Who would like to? Councillor
Point of order,
McNaught.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to, that comment needs to be withdrawn. It adds nothing to the debate. It is personal and it needs to be withdrawn. What simply is trying to happen here is to put forward a legal motion that Councillor Hart has said that there is broad support for the spirit of the motion. If we're going to do things, let's do them properly. It would make no sense to write to the federal government at point 2. All we simply need to do is replace point 2 down to point 4 and move the other 2 points up, so we know how much we're asking the federal government for.
Yep, I uphold your point of order, Councillor. I ask you to withdraw your comment, Councillor Ristevski.
It's the truth, though.
Councillor Ristevski, I'll ask you again to please withdraw your comment.
But what if it's the truth?
Which part of it?
You're constantly walking into the CEO's office.
Define, you said every 2 minutes?
No, but
That's
quite
what
a
you
lot.
said.
As a mayor, you should be focusing on cutting ribbons, handing out acknowledgements, not interfering in his role.
Councillor, yes, Councillor McNaught, it's your point of order.
There's accusations flying from the councillor at the chair that are completely irrelevant to this debate and to our community, and I ask him to withdraw and to stop this line of commenting.
Councillor Ristevski, a second point of order has been raised. I uphold the point of order. I ask you once again, in the spirit of Father Moncret, who was here earlier, in the spirit of the people who've taken their time to continue on this meeting in a respectful manner. Your comments, I find them extremely disrespectful. Right? We are trying to work out a motion that is legal, which is my responsibility as a chair of this meeting to put forward. Right? So I'll ask you once again to please withdraw your comment.
For the spirit of this motion, I really don't want to, but I will. I'll be the bigger person, because this is a very important motion, and the disrespect shown by the Liberal Party today is terrible.
You take this one.
Councillor Moon.
Sorry, one of your councillors is a Liberal Party member.
And what has he done? His question is, what did he do to disrespect this?
Well, do you want to repeat what you said about the toilet block?
I didn't say anything about the toilet block.
If you want to rewind the...
I was the one that raised the point of order with you.
Okay.
And I didn't say anything about a toilet block. No, you can direct the question.
Councillors, can I ask everyone to please be quiet? I'm not going to play this game. People aren't here for this sort of stuff. Okay? So, point 1 works. Point number 2, we have to put at the end of that once we receive a report on the cost. Right? Point 3 cannot be at the next council meeting. All right? So how much time would you like to be able to prepare that? I know there's many things on your agenda at the moment. When is an appropriate time? April? The report says April. So in April, I think it's already answered that. A cost of install a flagpole on every council building. CO, can I please have can I please have a definition when you read that as written? What does it mean by every council building and what could it include?
271 buildings. So I think every appropriate council building is a fair common ground. So let me determine what would be an appropriate place to display the flag.
Great. Right. Councillor Carney?
Can I just add just the commentary about every appropriate council building, the council building and or the library, as in our new site, and any other appropriate council building, because I think that's the one of most significance in terms of its site, its location, its importance to the community.
That's right. Yeah, because if you kept it as is, then you can literally come back with a report saying every building, right? Because that's what the motion is. Now, with that provides for you.
Yes, and I just in terms of point 4, the 3 official flags.
Okay, so point just one. Just after the word building in point 3, the determine a funding source. Can we just put that as a separate point? Please, just cut that off, make that a point at the end. And 5. So now we're specifying one particular building in point 5. Yeah. So put there, I guess, in April as well. Sorry, move then from the next council meeting. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, through the chair. I just need an interpretation, perhaps, what is a very large flag and what is a significant flagpole. If you leave that interpretation to me that suits the environment, is it okay?
So rather than the word in point 4, determine, identify, because it's up to council to determine. The CEO can identify.
And then move through to 1 hour, 10 minutes.
Council would need to consider whether it would be appropriate on each occasion to install all 3. So I think if you trust me to respond to the April council meeting with a range of alternatives, and also note that the report talks about the long-term financial plan. So if it's not council's intention to saturate every building at the same time, perhaps we should prioritise some of the buildings, and I'll give you a cost that can be spread across a number of years, and it may include the 1 flag or the 3 flags based on your decisions in April.
Do we need point 4?
Because you got it up the top.
It's basically point 2.
Yeah.
Not particularly. You could
Just maybe direct the acting CEO to write.
I think just for the sake of it, let's leave it. It does a job and let's move on.
I think that's a well-drafted motion.
Thank you. Wonderful. It's very useful. Very useful. All right. So the mover, are you happy with that?
Personally, no. I believe in the national flag, but to let this go to the keeper to the next meeting, let's move on.
Okay, so you accept this. You accept these amendments as part of your motion. Great. Is the seconder happy with that? Great. Would you like your right to reply, Councillor Ristevski? No. All right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Against, I declare it unanimous.
Right, can we
Where'd my paper go?
the recording now? Mr. Ristevski, that notice of motion on my rough maths took about 23 to 25 minutes for the motion to be passed. It was motion where I think described earlier by one of your fellow councillors that there was agreement with the spirit of the motion that you put forward.
Mhm.
You agree with that?
Yes.
I didn't show the whole of the video of the motion, but I did play the early part where people were speaking over each other.
Yes.
It became heated at times.
Yeah.
There was the comment made by Mr. Hart, which in substance was trying to get some clarity about which council buildings it was anticipated there would be a flagpole erected on. That's
Disagree.
what he was asking, wasn't it?
I disagree.
To construe his comment about is it all council buildings, for example, a toilet block, where does it actually stop? He's in substance asking a legitimate question along the lines of the council owns many buildings. Is it supposed to be including all of those buildings? That's what he was raising.
No, he wasn't.
Your point that he was disrespecting the flag by suggesting that it be the flag would be flown in a toilet or something like that was a nonsense point, Mr. Ristevski.
I disagree.
Can I suggest to you that if a ratepayer of Liverpool City Council watched that motion and the way the debate was conducted, they would have found it a very unedifying example of how council conducts itself.
Unedifying. What do you mean by that?
That the waste of time involved in the debate of the motion, the fact that people were speaking over each other, at times making rather, if I call them juvenile points. For example, your motion is terribly drafted, so is yours. Kind of tit for tat. It's quite a childish, juvenile approach to debate. It's those type of characteristics that underline that it was an unedifying example of council's operation.
This happens with
I'm sorry?
This happens at every council meeting, not just this motion. There's motions that have gone for an hour. And like I said in my testimony, the chair does not know how to chair meetings. The Fairfield meetings go for 90 minutes because he knows how to chair a meeting. This mayor does not know how to chair. The Liberal councillors always get advantage over the non-Liberal council.
I'm concentrating on this particular motion.
That's fine.
Do you agree that people were speaking over each other?
Yes.
That's not an appropriate way to conduct a debate?
I disagree.
When you speak over each other, the audience, the people in the public gallery, those watching it being live streamed, often cannot hear who is speaking and what is being said. Do you agree with that?
The reason I disagree.
No. Oh, you don't agree with that.
I want to give you the reason why I
No.
disagree.
Take it
I
step
don't
by
agree.
step. You do not agree with
I
that.
don't agree.
You don't agree that it makes it more difficult for people in the public gallery or watching it on the live streaming to hear what is being said.
I agree with that.
Do you agree that there were, in my words, juvenile comments being exchanged between councillors? And
I agree.
ultimately, it led to a waste of time.
This is normal in Liverpool.
I'm not asking you
I know, but
that.
you're picking at one snippet and you need to give you the context. It's not about yes and no. You need to understand that this is how all our meetings are conducted. It's not just my motion. Did you see last night's meeting?
It led to the motion that we are examining, it led to a waste of time, didn't it?
There's 90 other motions at the same similar process.
Do you agree or not that it led to a waste of time?
Yes.
Now, within the matters being raised, there were some legitimate matters raised about the motion that you put forward.
Yes.
For example, it appears to have been decided ultimately that the first step in the process was to ask the CEO to prepare a report.
Correct.
And as we could, from what we have listened to, that report would look at identifying appropriate buildings.
Correct.
And it was also raised that instead, in addition to the Australian flag, the Indigenous flag and the Aboriginal flag and the Torres Strait Island flag should be included in the report.
I didn't agree with that, but I
I
accept
know
it.
that you accepted it, but during the process, I think from what we've watched, 3 points of order were made against you.
Yes.
For comments which really weren't relevant to the debate on the question of the report for the flags.
There should have been point of orders on the other side too, not one.
The points of order, for example, a comment that you're in the CEO's office every 2 minutes, again, wasn't appropriate for what you were debating.
I agree.
In dealing with this motion, the first matter that I'd suggest to you is it would have been helpful to you or appropriate for some feedback before the meeting along the lines of the report should come first.
I agree. I've said that in previous testimony.
That, can I just ask you, that potential of raising beforehand, that is something that could have been done but wasn't done?
Correct.
So your evidence is there is a mechanism or a procedure within council for that to be raised instead of wasting time at a meeting?
What was the month of this?
February, 5th of February.
Okay, so I've previously testified that it is happening in the last few months, and meetings now, my motions are going through very, very quickly. And I've raised more motions than any other councillor, probably double.
But
We are talking about
What-
February.
what the other, as I've said, major problem with the debate on this was the behaviour of speaking over each other, juvenile comments and other irrelevant comments which generated points of order.
It happens in Parliament. It's politics.
It's a waste of time. You've complained.
Commissioner, I'm rise to my feet at this stage. That proposition's been put a number of times now. Councillor Ristevski has accepted that there was a waste of time. It also, in my respectful submission, has a conclusion that it was a waste of time. I think the question has been asked and answered in my respectful submission. I don't think it's of assistance to keep that going back over, but it was a waste of time.
I thought he just was moving away from that position. You agree it was a waste of time?
Of course.
And looking at the conduct now, I'll start with you personally, have you the meeting finishing at about 6:40 p.m. That would suggest that it was maybe a late afternoon, evening meeting.
Would have started at 6, I'd say.
Okay. that would suggest that your meeting with Mr. Breton on the 20th probably was in the morning.
Yes.
You agree with that? Now, you can see there, meeting with you, if we jump to the next line, he raises with you, picking on staff members and nominates a staff member. Your response was, as recorded by Mr. Breton, is that you have no appetite for stopping this behaviour as you believe you must represent your constituents in this manner. Now, that would appear to be referring to social media, some social media posts you have made.
Yes.
Do you remember Mr. Breton raising with you at this meeting his concern about some of your social media posts?
Yes.
Did he raise with you either stopping or changing or amending your posts?
No.
Did you utter or say anything along the lines of you don't have an appetite for stopping this behaviour as you believe that you must represent your constituents in this manner?
Don't talk to them.
That is Mr. Breton's note
Yeah.
of what you
I
said.
wouldn't have said.
I concede that it's what he's writing, but you can tell from what he's written the sentiment or the substance that he's recording.
Sorry, I object to the reference to sentiment. I certainly agree that reflects the substance of what he's recording. I object to the use of sentiment.
Should we phrase the question?
The substance of what
Mhm.
he recorded that you said. Now, on that basis, being the substance of what you said, can you recall saying something along those lines at this meeting?
I would have said to him, as a councillor, my only mechanism is social media. It's to communicate and inform them of what is happening in the community. I won't mention the staff member's name, but
Can I just stop you? What I'm interested in is not your elaboration now of what you would have said. I'm really asking you about your recollection on the 20th of February of what you said to Mr. Breton.
that's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
So you started off by saying, I would have said.
Yes.
Do you have a recollection of saying something along the lines of, I can only communicate via social media. I communicate what is happening.
Correct.
All right. Did you say anything about stopping particular posts or particular things that you were posting?
No.
Well, Mr. Breton wasn't suggesting to you that you stop posting on social media per se, was he?
No.
He was raising particular posts because they were picking on staff members.
The one particular post that I did post was already in the public domain through the Australian, and I was just regurgitating what was said in the Australian.
All right, I'm not asking you that.
That's what I said.
I'm trying to work out your account. We've heard Mr. Breton's account.
And I'm saying
what
I
was
said that.
discussed at that meeting. So your account is that you said to him, that's in the public domain. It was in the Australian on the
Correct.
Sydney Morning Herald.
Correct.
Did you say to him anything along the lines of, this is the way I believe I must represent my constituents in that manner?
No, I would have said that I have a job to hold everyone to account. In my opinion, council hasn't been very transparent in the past term.
Can I just pause you? You're not, I'm interested in what you told Mr. Breton. So
saying-
are you saying that you raised
Sorry.
all this with Mr. Breton?
Yeah, we meet for about an hour, so it's not a 5-minute conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I explained to him because I don't think he understood.
Don't have that.
Well,
Just, I'm asking you about what your memory of what you said to Mr. Breton.
Okay.
So we've got, I use social media to continue what is happening. The particular post that he's raised, I said to him, it's already in the public domain.
yes,
What else did you say to Mr. Breton at the meeting?
in specific to social media,
Mm.
would have been other topics.
No, social media.
And I remember I said to him, what is the problem? I'm not giving any confidential information. There's an Australian that's identified the particular staff member. I haven't identified them. What is the issue? You need to clarify to me if there's a particular issue, and he couldn't.
Mr. Breton raised with you that the issue was that it was moving into work health and safety issues.
You didn't raise that with me. Should have raised it with the Australian. I wasn't.
Mr. Ristevski, just listen to my question.
He didn't say.
You're saying that Mr. Breton did not raise with you that your comments, even if they've been published in every newspaper in the land, that you were advised that the matter is now moving into the work health and safety area.
I want to put that in context.
No, no, no.
He didn't say that. He didn't
He
say
did
that.
not say that. Okay.
Can I elaborate or no?
No,
Okay.
I'm just interested
No, he didn't.
in your evidence
No.
of what he
He
said.
didn't say that.
Even though he had a couple of days before issued an email to all councillors where he reminded councillors about their obligations re social media posts under the media policy and the code of conduct, and also raised in that email work health and safety issues. I took you to that email probably about 20 minutes ago.
Yes.
So even in that context, you're saying that he did not raise work health and safety issues at this meeting.
No.
Okay, let's go to the meeting in the afternoon of the recruitment.
Just before you do I need to, do we need to,
Sorry, we can withdraw that.
yeah,
Oh. Can I just flag, I'm going to ask questions about Mr. Ristevski's recollection of what occurred during that meeting, which I think the matter that you're referring to, Commissioner, it does come under that.
Yes.
okay. Did we ever restart the live stream after I killed it? All right, pursuant to section 12B of the Royal Commissions Act, I direct the next passage of the hearing take place in private, that the transcript of this passage of the hearing not be published otherwise than in accordance with the usual order, and that those who are presently in the hearing room can remain.
We're right? Thank you. Mr. Ristevski, I want to ask you some questions about the council meeting on the 26th of February. Now, you've given evidence that you have either been primarily watching the proceedings live or catching up with the transcript.
Just watching live. I don't read.
I didn't want to go to the meeting in great detail because we have watched the video, I think, on 2 or 3 occasions,
Yes.
and a number of witnesses have given evidence about what happened on that
Correct.
occasion. what I was going to propose to do was in summary, take you to some key points or key things that happened.
Sure.
And then ask you about what you thought was going on,
Yes.
etc.
Yes.
Now,
If at any stage during that process, councillor, you'd like to see the tape or need the minutes or the papers, feel free to sing out. That can be arranged.
Thank you.
all right. Now, at this meeting, there was a relevant report which was entitled Mayoral Attendance at the 5th Annual Metropolis Conference in Hong Kong.
Yes.
And again, I can bring it up if you want to, but it was basically along the lines of the mayor's going to attend.
Yep.
And there was information that the conference organisers were going to pay for it, for
Yes.
his airfare and attendance. I think the second part of it was looking at some kind of either a member of staff or some other person who would attend with the mayor, but that would have to be paid by council.
Correct.
When that came for debate, you raised the suggestion, or you actually foreshadowed an amendment that you also wanted to attend the conference.
Yes.
But you would pay for yourself.
Yes.
And during that discussion, you made the comment that the motion should be amended. You'd like to attend the conference. The motion be amended so that you and the mayor could travel together, but you will pay your own way.
Yes.
You recall that?
Yes.
If you wanted to attend the conference and you were going to pay your own way, did you need a motion by the council approving that?
Well, I mean, we're talking about the motion. We might as well get it, as the mayor says, make it a complete motion. Can't chop and change. We are talking about the particular topic. If a member of council is travelling,
Want to attend?
wants to attend,
Mhm.
and obviously there's going to be networking sessions. You're there representing the council.
I've got no problem. There's no issue with
Yeah.
if you wanted
Should be
to
part of the
attend,
motion.
you pay, but why?
Because if you're there at a networking function, you're handing out Liverpool Council cards,
Mhm.
it should be part of the motion. We're already talking about it.
But you don't require a motion to attend the conference. As long as you pay your own way and you pay the attendance fee or the conference fee, you can attend, can't you?
Then why was the motion brought up if the mayor was paying his own way?
You answer my question. If you wanted to attend the conference,
Yep.
you were paying your own way.
Yep.
You did not need approval or a resolution to do that, did you?
I disagree.
And that was pointed out by your fellow councillors during the meeting, wasn't it? That there was no need, if you wanted to attend, for the motion to include that.
It was included in the motion and it was passed.
Why did you make the comment that it be amended so you and the mayor could travel together?
Well, I wanted to go as well.
No. Why did you make the comment that it be amended so that you and the mayor could travel together?
Well, I object to that. That doesn't accord with what my note of the minutes say. My note here says, why don't we change that and put my name on there? It would be a good opportunity to travel together.
Exactly. That's what I said.
All right, I think it,
Well, I think
sorry, did you refer to minutes? Is that's
I think
minutes, or is that a note of the recording that you're,
I'm looking at a note of the recording and what
Ah.
was said at the recording.
all right.
Well, I was looking at a note of the recording at 2:42:35, where it was so that Mr. Ristevski and the mayor can travel together. And then your reference was to another comment at 2:43. where again it's raised, it
Well,
would be a good opportunity for him and the mayor to travel together.
All right. I think probably in fairness to the witness, both should be put. Ms Hamilton, Jewel, is there an issue with so I think you're in agreement that the passage that Ms Hamilton Jewel read out was said. Is there an issue with the passage that Councillor Assisting put? And then I'll have both propositions put to the witness.
242.35.
My note doesn't deal with 242.45, so I'll accept what councillor says.
All right. Well, ultimately, it only goes as far as what the underlying recording shows. And if there's a problem with the proposition, then there's obviously going to be a problem with the answer. But perhaps put both of the contextual comments and.
I'm trying to avoid to play it. The first reference that my notes have is that you stated you wanted to attend the conference. You suggest the motion be amended so that you and the mayor can travel together, but you will pay your own way. So that's the first reference. And then there's another reference. You proposed that the alternative officer who was referred to in the second paragraph, you remember that in the original motion?
Yeah.
Be amended to put my name on there, and it would be a good opportunity for he and the mayor, for you and the mayor to travel together.
Yeah.
So first step, I've put to you that on those two separate occasions, you are raising the topic of travelling together with the mayor. You agree with that?
Well, it's not travelling together on the same plane. I'm paying my own airfare, so I make my own arrangements.
Mr. Ristevski, do you recall that during the meeting, you raised on those two separate occasions, you said something along the lines of, so that I and the mayor can travel together?
Yes.
Perhaps in the 2-week recess, a transcript of this meeting and any other meeting where I might be asked to look at comments that pass between councillors, for example, the one you played earlier, could be prepared by those who are doing the transcript for us, and then we can that can be tendered.
Yes. Do you remember after the first time you referred to that you and the mayor can travel together, the mayor then indicated that a motion was not required for you as you proposed to pay your own way?
Yes.
You then proposed that the alternative officer in paragraph 2 should be amended, and again reiterated it would be a good opportunity for you and the mayor to travel together. And then the mayor responded along the lines of, I see no humour in that statement.
Yes.
Now, you just said in an answer that there was no requirement for you and the mayor to be on the same flight or anything like that.
No.
You didn't say that at the meeting, did you? Your words were travelling together.
I interpreted it a different way.
Not asking you to begin with what you interpreted. I'm trying to get your words.
Yes.
So your words were, on those two occasions, the mayor and myself travelling together.
Yes.
You did not at any time in the meeting say, oh, but of course that, we could be on different flights. It doesn't mean that we're on the same flight or we're sitting next to each other. You never expressly stated that, did you?
That's time wasting. It's unnecessary to say.
So the answer to my question is no, I never said that.
No, I never said that.
though your evidence is that in your mind, you could be flying up separately, etc.
Of course.
Now, in your mind, when you raised that, did you consider, after the events of the 20th of February, when you stood on the mayor's toe, I know you've described the circumstances, but you did stand on his toe,
Yes.
whether the mayor would react to that suggestion?
No, I didn't give it any thought.
Now, there's then some discussion about whether it's an amendment or a foreshadowed motion from you. And the motion as it stood was put to the council and was lost. And then the mayor raised, as we now deal with the foreshadowed motion, he raised going into a closed session. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And he referred to section 10 capital A 2F of the Act. You asked what that section means. Do you recall that?
Yes.
The mayor reads the section. The motion to move into closed session was put and it was lost.
Correct.
At that point, when the mayor read out that provision of the Local Government Act, did you understand in substance what he was raising?
I thought it was a stunt.
All right, so you did not have any understanding of what he was raising other than you thought it was a stunt.
Exactly.
Oh. And the mayor then removes himself from the meeting.
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Hull then becomes the chair.
Yes.
And then there's further discussion about the foreshadowed motion. And then you've got Councillor Hart asking the Deputy Mayor, is the reason why the Mayor has stepped out relating to a work health and safety issue? And Councillor Hart replies, and that's why we wanted to go into a confidential. There was further discussion about whether a closed session was called for. Do you recall that discussion?
Yes.
When Councillor Hart confirmed that the reason for wanting to go into the closed session was work health and safety, was there any elaboration on what work health and safety issue?
No.
Did you raise or ask any questions as to what work health and safety issue was?
I think I may have said, what are you guys on about?
And did you receive a reply to that?
No reply.
Now, your foreshadowed motions then passed.
Yes.
And then I think a 5-minute recess was called.
Yes?
Now, can I just bring up INQ.007.001.0004? Yes, please. Go to the bottom of page 23. That ultimately was the motion that was passed,
Yes?
which is council notes the invitation from the event organisers, confirms the attendance of the mayor to present at the summit.
Yep.
The CEO or alternative officer to consider attending with the mayor.
Yep.
And do you recall that the debate, and I think in particular it was Councillor Monaghan raised, that the alternative officer should really be somebody from operations because they've got the knowledge, they can really answer the questions that are going to be asked.
Yes.
And then finally, any councillors that wish to attend, they self-fund.
Beautifully written motion, yes.
All right, that was the motion that's passed.
Yes.
Now, after that, again, I'm just jumping through. You had the recession, the break. You come back and there was a rescission motion.
Yes?
That was defeated.
Yes?
And then do you recall that a number of the councillors, including councillors McNaught, AJ, Amoon and Hart, then left the meeting?
Correct.
At the time that they left the meeting, did you know why they were leaving the meeting?
Another stunt by the Liberal.
All right.
That's what I thought.
At any time, for example, when you had the 5 or 10 minute break before the rescission motion was raised, did anybody raise with you work health and safety issues underlying why the mayor originally left, why the other councillors did eventually leave?
Never, and not to this day, we have no idea what's going on.
I'm just noting the time.
Yes.
It was raised with me that one of our council at the bar table does have to leave at 4.
There, oh yes, it's bang on 4. Yes, of course. 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Yes.
Right, I'll adjourn until 10 a.m. tomorrow. We'll see you here in the morning, Councillor.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your attendance today. You're ready to go?
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.